Alright, we should be live. We're back. We're working on Electro, Assaulting Battery. Here he is in case you need a reminder of how he works. And we are at 94 cards. So, 94 spells. We need to cut him down to 60. Roughly. I mean, I have a tiny bit of wiggle room for him being lighter on lands. Like, he's not super mana intensive for his spells. Obviously, his ability is very mana intensive, but the whole point is to be able to build up huge amounts of mana over turns, so he is less likely to get punished for missing, like, his 5th land drop, say, than a lot of the other commanders I've built. So, maybe we have some wiggle room. I don't want to go too low on Mountains, though, because the whole point is that he wants to keep generating mana every turn so that he himself is a lethal threat if anything happens to him. Alright, so let's go back through the list, see if we can find anything else we want to get rid of. Gauntlet of Might stays. Soul Ring, definitely. Lightning Bolt, yes. Chain Lightning, almost definitely. Chain Lightning can go. The sorcery speed on it is a little bit frustrating in Commander specifically, but being able to bounce it back and forth, potentially between players, like if they think they need to kill something and pay the 2 red. Probably Fire Blast. It's nice that it can be free. Losing the 2 mountains is a problem if the game drags on, and I, get rid of 2 of my mountains when those could have been like 4 red mana a turn per turn cycle or something. Like, that starts to add up with all of our mana increasing cards, but it can also be one of those you gotta do what you gotta do when you're tapped out or don't have anything else to work with. But yeah, I can see losing Fire Blast. Flame Rift, Citadel, Altar. Yeah, still might cut the Altar. We already cut Goblin Bombardment. I might cut the Altar for the same reason. Like, we have so many burn spells that we can just point at Electro and kill him if we needed to, whenever we needed to. That putting out a card that lets me sacrifice him for value is still costing me a card to do that, and these ones can't kill opponents' creatures or be pointed at their face. So, yeah, there's a very, very reasonable argument for getting rid of Phyrexian Altar at this point, and I think I'm going to take it. So many of my things can actually kill Electro that I don't need a dedicated slot to sacrificing it. I keep looking at top and then I keep thinking I have all of these cards that let me exile the top card of my library and play it until end of turn. And if I know what those cards are, not only can I make sure that I'm exiling the ones that I want to cast this turn, I can also top swap for the cards and then cast the top that turn to hold the cards in my hand. So I think Sensei's Divining Top still stays, even though this deck, more so than most of them, doesn't do as much with it as a lot of my other decks do. It still does the normal thing where I crack a fetch and now I get to pick what I'm drawing, but it does have some utility past that, so I think it still stays in. Also, I just love Sensei's Divining Top and Commander. So. Fire is perfect for this deck, and I refuse to cut it. Gauntlet of Power. because I need a matching set of gloves. I can't bring myself to cut Soulbright Flamekin with how this deck works. Like, just being able to get 2 extra mana every single turn for no other investment than having this creature in play in the first place just seems so good. Like, if I have enough floating mana, he's free the turn that I cast him, too. Like, I just immediately get that 2 mana back, so... He's free that turn, and then I go up mana every turn after that he lives, so... Flame Javelin, Jaws of Stone... Burst Lightning, Spire Barrage... Flame Slash needs to stay... Every time I see Galvanic Blast, I look at all of the other ones, and I'm just like... I know I have enough artifacts for it right now, but it is the one that is only a shock, and I can't really do much about it if I don't have the artifacts. Like, a lot of the other ones, it's like, okay, I just need to get a little more mana, or... Actually, no, that's true. All of them are lightning bolts except for this one and burst lightning, and getting them up to 4 damage. Burst lightning is more mana. This is finding 3 of my artifacts at the same time. It shouldn't actually be that hard to find the artifacts. I think I leave it in. I'm gonna leave in the Ingus for now. Charmbreaker stays. There aren't a whole lot of spells in this deck that if I got it back, it would be like, oh no, I got this one. Like, I'm thinking about things like Vandal Blast when we've already destroyed all of our opponent's artifacts. Or, yeah, when we discard it for some reason, like there just weren't good, useful targets, and now we have it back again. Like, yeah, I could kill, like, 3 or 4 treasures and your Soul Ring. That'd be neat and all, but this is not the point in the game where I need to worry about this person's 3 treasures, your treasure, and your Soul Ring. I have more pressing things. Getting back Vandal Blast would not be particularly helpful there. But for the most part, it's all burn spells all the way down, so... Stormbreaker should still be fine. I also might wind up cutting it, but... Bogus can stay for right now. Is it Chandra Torch of Defiance? So the upside to Chandra is obviously she can add 2 red mana each turn while upticking to threaten her ultimate. And I can also exile the top card and play it. Card advantage. Dealing 4 damage to a creature is mostly whatever, but it's not nothing. The downside to her is that I don't do a great job of protecting planeswalkers on my own, and she can only kill like 1 thing to keep her safe, and that puts her in range of basically everything else at the table. Like, I think Hope's Beacon and Awakened Inferno are a lot stronger in this deck than Torch of Defiance is. Maybe I don't need her. Like Hope's Beacon and casting, Lightning Bolt or something, Incinerate, any of those is already pretty reasonable. Like I feel like, I cast her, I uptick her, I cast a spell and copy it. It's already reasonable. And then if she lives, then that's amazing. Whereas Torch of Defiance, if I play her and get like 2 red mana or the top card of my library or 4 damage to a creature, all of those are kind of medium. So, and there is always a world where I cast Torch of Defiance with like 30 mana floating because of our commander, and I just get to, I spend the 6 mana on that, and then I get to like double Fault Line and kill everybody. Crackle with power, something along those lines. Yeah, I can see cutting Torch of Defiance. I'm not cutting Neheb though. Getting to burn the opponent in main phase 1 and then passing through combat to main phase 2 to trigger his give me a ton of red mana. Way too good. That's assuming that I can't attack with him and get in some more damage. Bone Crusher Giant is okay. Like, both halves of him are okay. Maybe I don't need him, though. Like, I need to make cuts at this point. I need to cut, like, 1 in every 3 cards. So, if I'm being honest with myself, how badly do I want, like, Bone Crusher Giant? And the answer is... Eh... I kind of want him, but at the same time, maybe not. Yeah, maybe we lose Bone Crusher then. Slaying Fire, Torbrand, Lotus, Leyline Tyrant. I could still lose the Leyline Tyrant. Like, it's okay. Talked about before what things I can do with Leyline Tyrant being in the deck that go beyond redundant, keep all of my mana available. Yeah, okay, I can see cutting the Tyrant at this point. Roiling, keep Valakut. Urgy's good. Goldspan Dragon. Goldspan Dragon is more in keeping with what the deck wants than Leyline Tyrant is, and it also might go. I do have a few other uses for the treasures, though, so fine to keep it for right now. But it might have to go just because I don't have room for stuff. Do I lose Intro to Annihilation? It's way clunkier than Zuko's thing, but it also hits any permanent. So high loyalty planeswalkers can go. Well, any non-land permanent still. So high loyalty planeswalkers that I can't just easily burn out or attack down can go. Um, Kills battles, and that becomes a thing. Mostly it kills enchantments. That's like the biggest thing in my red deck is that it will kill an enchantment. It's annoying me. Hardman, Base Breaker, Vision Rexia, Sulfum's fine. Beacon, City on Fire, Orabrask. All of these are fine. Description's good. Modane's probably too good. Yeah, being able to change targeted creature burn into mass opponent face burn is just way too good, I think. What we're already doing. Really like Virtue. Makes it possible to chain multiple spells per turn with all my floating mana. It's just like, okay, so I'm gonna burn your face anyway, so now I get to exile my top three and see if any of those are castable. Each of my instants and sorceries I'm casting is rebating me red mana. If any of it's burn, I can keep throwing it. Yeah, like that's gotta be worth having. Like part of me is a bit iffy about Scorching Shot, and then there's part of me that's like, well, sometimes 4 damage just isn't good enough to kill the creature, and 2 mana is very efficient for a red deck. And Scorching Shot is as close as red's ever getting to straight up Doomblade. Because once you get into 2 mana, deal 6 damage to a creature, it basically is Doomblade. That hits way too much of the cutoff point. Now, obviously, there are things that are going to live through it, but there were things that were going to live through Doomblade too, so. Yeah, the reason why Wizards doesn't print, like, burn spells, like, if it's only killing a creature, what's the harm in, your 2 red mana spell dealing 13 damage to a creature? Well, then it's like, at that point, what is the difference between it and Doomblade? It literally kills any creature at that point, so they won't actually do that. There to be a difference. There's barely any when it's dealing like just titanic amounts of damage to a creature. And most of the difference is upside if I can get something like Immodane in play. It's like, okay, I'm gonna deal, like 3 mana, deal 20 damage to your creature. Okay, well now you are also taking 20 damage, so I guess I'm going to win this one. Scorching Shot stays. Needlehead staying. Sunspire Links. Count on Luck. Yeah, I don't think I can cut Clive from this deck. Clive's doing way too many of the things I want him to do. He's giving me extra cards. His giant body is killing my opponent's creatures. And then he rebates me all of the mana I spent in order to flip him and then some. So that way I can flip him again and still be up mana from the whole exchange and get to draw more cards. And yeah. Yeah, I think Clive has to stay. Probably keep my commander. Roku, like, Set Roku is too good because giving me the ability to make the dragons, especially at instant speed. Like, if I get to make a dragon and then next turn attack with it and get the firebending 4 and, use that 4 plus another 4 to make another dragon, and then now I'm getting 8 mana, I can just make a dragon every turn that I want to, or just float this mana forever. Like, both of those are incredibly strong. And that's assuming that Roku can't find an attack either where he can just get the 4 mana. Do you think in a deck with options, Redirect Lightning, because Redirect Lightning is both very good for protecting my things, but also for pulling removal towards Electro. Like, I think I'm going to use that at least 10% of the time that I use this card. Like, maybe 5%, but I want to say at least 10%. We're just gonna, like, no, you're killing Electro now, so that way he can finish you off. You may not, in fact, use Vindicate to destroy one of my other things. Or one of the other opponent's things for that matter. It's like, no, don't worry, opponent, I'll save your land or cool artifact or whatever and just kill you instead. Do we cut the Bender's Water Skin? I do like it in this deck, getting an extra red mana every turn feels very on brand. But at the same time, we have a lot of ways to get extra mana. And I desperately need cuts. I have to cut one in every 3 cards. Out of all the cards from the Avatar set, is the one I least mind cutting, so that. I do want to keep Goggles if I can. Obviously, they're not mana efficient at all as far as mana rocks go, but getting to float that mana and eventually copy my spells with it feels way too good. Army wonders if I can cut either the Twin Flame Dragon or Sulfim. Like, I don't want to cut the enchantments because they're dealing triple damage. They're harder to deal with, but it's entirely possible I don't have room for both Sulfim and Twin Flame. We already cut the Fiendish Duo, though, so. But maybe I have to cut more damage multipliers. Fury probably too good. Ragavan too good. I love the idea of blinking our commander with Sword of Hearth and Home just so I can dump the X mana into killing somebody. But that might be just a cute trick that I don't need. Maybe we get rid of Sword of Hearth and Home also. I definitely want Sword of Feast and Famine more. Untapping all of my lands is just way too potent with this deck, so. And it's protecting it from an actual removal color. If I care about that thing. Like, I don't have to put the sword on Electro necessarily. I can put it on something else, get in for the damage because now my creature is unblockable, and untap all my lands to tap again. Because there will be times where I actually want Electro to die, so. Send it to Avernus new. Signet. Sudden Demise. Disrupt Decorum. Still tempted to cut Disrupt Decorum. Obviously, it's fine. Drive, go away. Stop. Oh, shoot. I do not mind the Pyramaw as a consistent damage source. I'm debating on Disrupt Decorum. Forcing all my opponents to attack each other is fine. It's also amazing to get onto Arcane Bombardment, where I can just keep casting it forever, or to get back with Charm Breakers. But I don't know that I need it. It's not in and of itself dealing direct damage, so it doesn't count for a lot of my other things, but it does force the opponents to potentially damage each other or lose their creatures and leaves them vulnerable. All of the things where it's like, and if it can attack, like Avatar Roku or whatnot, where I just get the extra mana. Alright, we leave it for right this second, because I'm still not sure on it. And then we just have Jaws. Jaws is still fine. Alright, so copy Jaws. How many did I cut this time? I cut 7. Alright. So we are losing the altar finally. What's that? Fire Blast. Okay. I was like, well, what card is below that I can't see? That's going to be in the damage section, though. Alright, we're cutting Chandra. These off of the sublists. That later when I'm looking at them, they don't confuse me. Didn't I cut this already? And the answer is yes, actually I did. Oh wait, we cut Zuko the other day and I forgot to cut him from down here. Cut Bombardment. Going from here, as is Bone Crusher, and I missed that. Crackle, Orabrask, Inscription, Immodane, Virtue, Sunspire, Razorkin, Understaying. Alright, one more time. What was the count? 7. Okay. Alright, so pop back up here. Down to 87. Get that off. Alright. Alright, how many instants in sorcery, like actual instants in sorceries, do I have? Because that's kind of like the whole thing for this. And alright, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's why I can't just look over there and see how many I have. 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, or no, 14, 15, 16. Alright, so 16. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Alright, so roughly half the spells still on the list are instants and sorceries, so I can afford to cut a couple of them still without going too far below. Like, I feel like 20 is the minimum. Like, I don't want to go below that. Like, if I'm going to have to cut instants and sorceries to the point where I go below 20, I definitely need to cut non instant and sorcery cards first. I already cut Fire Diamond. Do I even need Arcane Signet? I don't think that I actually do. Alright, let's pull Arcane Signet off. Rid of it from down here. Yeah, I don't really need it for early ramp. That's kind of what my commander's for. And I don't need it for helping with the mana production because it doesn't benefit from, like the gauntlets and whatnot. I'm not getting extra red mana from those at that point, so we're tapping it. And it's only 1 mana, like at least the Nyx Lotus and the White Lotus tile. Although I got rid of White Lotus tile, right? Because I got rid of all of the things. I think I got rid of White Lotus tile, so it should just be Nyx Lotus left. And that thing can tap for a ton of mana in this deck. Wondering if I need all of the 3 mana deal 4 damage cards that I have, and if I get rid of one of them, it's almost definitely going to be Slaying Fire, because that's the least impressive one. Like, we should always be able to spend 3 red on it, unless we've reduced the casting cost on it. But that doesn't necessarily help it. I keep arguing that it's like, okay, if I do that, then it's a lightning strike, but at the same time, like, if I were going to cut one of the 3 damage burn spells, it would probably be lightning strike. So if I'm thinking about cutting something like Ghost Fire Slice, Slaying Fire probably goes first. So yeah, I might wind up just cutting Slaying Fire. I don't think I need all of these, and to make room. Let's see if anything else jumps out at me as something I can cut. silly 5 cards from Avatar that are keeping me from, like, if I had not gone ahead and just, it's like, okay, I'm just going to ignore Avatar, and I'm sure there will be cards that I would want to upgrade the deck with, but we're going to ignore them for now, then I'd have like 5 extra cards that wouldn't be on the list, but that is not the case. And I do think I would be trying to make room for all of these in the deck after it was done. 5, Count on Luck, and Needlehead. Play. Okay. Description was the one I was counting all the instants and sorceries just to make sure at that point it's like, okay, I know that my focus is going to be on them, but how many of them do I actually have? Am I going to be able to consistently cast Sinner Sorcery each turn? Or am I losing the plot and just filling up the deck with permanents instead? Excuse me. Because I do have a lot of permanents here. Moment. Alright, so obviously Fable is just good value. Like, it makes the goblin, it makes the treasures. Me draw 2 cards, and that flips into a bad Kiki. Kiki is amazing, so bad Kiki is still fine. None of its things are actually directly on topic for the deck. Alright, you know what? I can probably lose Fable. It's just a good value card, but it's not on theme enough for the deck, so I can just drop it. Like, very few of my things that I can copy are particularly helpful past, having a extra copy in play to attack with. I don't get Charmbreaker Devil's upkeep trigger. A lot of my things are legendary, so that they came. It's not like I could copy my commander with it and then keep my original, and the copy dies, and then that triggers the death trigger on the commander. Play on the commander. Like, I'm not even getting that out of it, so. Might just cut most of the treasure sub theme. I don't know if I keep Professional Facebreaker. Like, I definitely keep Ragavan, and I'm almost definitely keeping Descent into Avernus, which both make treasures. But I'm wondering if I actually care enough about the treasures to keep Stormkiln and Goldspan in the deck. And the answer is I might not actually. The Stormkiln is mostly just a bad Burgie. Slightly worse Orbrask. But it is nice because if I have multiples in play, I can actually go up mana. for casting my spells, or more things become mana neutral at that point. Getting like a treasure here and a red mana from Burgi or a Brask way. I do need to make cuts. Alright, I think Stormkiln and Goldspan can go. I think. I might wind up cutting the Facebreaker because of this. We'll have to see. I think I desperately need either of these. Do need to make room. Also wondering if Valakut Exploration can go. It's nice that it'll deal the damage if I don't play the cards, but I also need to landfall in order to get the card from it, whereas the other ones just give me a card each turn. Because let's say I don't have the other exile the top card of my library and play it until end of turn. If I just have this one, it only gives me an extra card whenever I draw a land. Which is not the worst, being able to turn the land into, you know, a new spell, or at least get another land off the top of my deck. And then eventually it'll go to the graveyard and deal them a point, since presumably I already played a land. I can't play land that I exiled with it. This deck. Alright, let's cut Allocation as the worst of the exile, and I can play it until end of turn enchantments. Alright, most done for the day. Let's see if we can find anything else to get rid of. Yeah, I think out of all of these, Slaying Fire can just go. Going. Strike, Fanatic. Rack. Breakers, Blasphemous Act is staying, Cage Sun stays. Sword. Do I need Galvanoth? It's really nice when it hits a spell and I just get to cast it for free, assuming that I did not want to hold onto the spell for reasons. Yeah, like if I flip up Blasphemous Act or one of the X spells that's still on the list, then I don't get a rebate on it because I'm not going to cast it there. Whereas if I'm flipping up like Lightning Bolt or Flame Rift or something, I just get an extra spell for a couple mana and get a card deeper into my deck, so. Alright. Not quite there. I'm gonna brute force getting through. I'm kind of losing focus here now. And we've made a ton of cuts, so I don't feel like I didn't accomplish anything today, but the more I stare at it, I'm starting to feel that eye strain that I get, and it's just like I am fading out a couple of times already while staring at this list. So it might be time to. It's definitely time to call it, but I'm gonna get through one more pass just to see if there's anything else that jumps out at me as I don't actually need this card. Do I still want Citadel of Pain? I feel like I do, like, I'm already encouraged to tap out, so encouraging the other players to also. I did not enable zoom mode, thank you. Hush up, you. Ice of Progress, Ruby Medallion, Mox Monkey, Incinerate, Chain Lightning, and we're back at the top. Alright, so how many things do we actually have this time? 6 more. Alright, so we made good progress at least. Like, we're almost there. So yeah, I think I'm gonna call it there so that way I don't, like, trail off and just go silent for a while staring blankly at the screen. Even though we're a few minutes short, I don't think I'm gonna make much more progress right now, so thank you for watching, and I'm probably not going to have time to do any Avatar stuff before I go to work, so I'll probably have to wait until I get home to start drafting it, but we'll see. But that is the plan since this is release day when I'm recording this, so thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good rest of your day.